After nearly 2 years, R&B singer R.Kelly's child sexual abuse trial is set to begin Monday in New York. The award-winning recording artist is facing multiple state and federal charges with allegations dating back more than 2 decades. BNC's Eric Cox details the history of disturbing accusations against Kelly.
Eric Cox for BNC.
And joining me now is criminal defense attorney Michael Kushner to dive in deeper on what's to come. Michael, good evening and welcome back to BNC.
Good evening. It's great to be here.
Well, Michael, you just heard the story. R.Kelly is facing a lot, some very serious charges from racketeering, kidnapping, forced labor, and Mann Act violations. Talk about the racketeering charge and how often do you see this in sexual abuse cases?
This is a new frontier for the U.S. Attorney's Office. The RICO Act was not created to encompass this type of an enterprise. However, the Brooklyn office, the Eastern District of New York, has become creative with using it to dismantle large-scale enterprises that have to deal with particularly sexual conduct. Right before this indictment was unsealed, we had that trial going on over here of the NXIVM sex cult that was brought under a RICO guise as well. But this is one of the only cases you'll hear about in the last several years and probably into the future that is going to be styled similar to this one. This is a unique piece of litigation going on.
And why is it an effective tool for the prosecution?
Well, it's effective because it allows the federal prosecutors to bring in a lot of evidence about this organization and acts that are alleged to have been committed prior to the statute of limitations in this case. So, as you mentioned, this is going to be going back decades. I believe that the first allegation that the prosecutors are going to bring up is 1990 wedding to Aaliyah, and so you're talking 30 years ago almost that that the acts and the incidents that are being discussed are going to be happening. And so the RICO law allows them to say this is a criminal enterprise, and part of its activities started at this period of time back 30 years ago and continued right up until 2018, I believe, is the last alleged act and omission.
And Michael, looking ahead to Monday, what can we expect from this jury selection process, and how difficult can the selection process be since this is a high-profile case?
So the federal system of jury selection is totally different than the state systems, and it's unlike most things you've seen before. The judge will be asking all of the questions to the potential jurors. The questions will be standard questions that are asked of every juror that comes through any case, and then each side gets to propose certain questions that they would like to have the judge ask the potential jurors. The federal judges are very easy, they're not as easy as state judges to get out of jury duty. So I would expect jury selection to be swift. It's not a show and dance like in state court where you get to spend a lot of time as the attorney speaking to the potential jurors. The judge does it, you take your notes, you file a written objection, and then the judge moves forward.
So here's the deal. The prosecutors plan to introduce evidence that involves 19 women, and at least 7 of them were minors at the time of the alleged misconduct. Plus, we're talking about a 17-year-old boy as well. With so much evidence against him, how do you expect this trial to play out?
So, I mean, certainly the prosecution's argument sounds a lot more compelling at this point in time before we've seen what the defense is going to say. I mean, we've seen some preview of their case. Last year, they filed a motion to dismiss this case, which was denied. But their defense is going to be that this R.Kelly is not an enterprise, and those around him are so loosely associated with him that it shouldn't be considered an enterprise for criminal conduct. Separating this case from the NXIVM trial that occurred, 2 years ago, is that NXIVM case involved a real organization whose ulterior motive was sexual gratification for the leadership. This case is there's no real structure to this case. It's R.Kelly and those who worked for him in sort of a loose affiliation. And so the defense is going to need to try and dig holes into those witnesses and those associations as the government makes them known.
And Michael, in 3 words, before I let you go, you're the criminal defense attorney in this case, for instance. What would you be doing the night before this trial sets tomorrow? Put you on the spot here.
Sleep and eat.
Okay. Okay.
I think there's 3 words. You asked for 3 words. I think that tomorrow is it's not going to be that much of a day for the lawyers. I think the judge is going to do a lot of questioning. She's got a lot of preliminary issues about what evidence to let in, what questions to allow. So I think that the real fireworks are going to start on Thursday when we're scheduled to have opening arguments. So tonight, sleep and eat. Tomorrow, same thing. Wednesday, though, is going to be nervous Nellies. They're going to be up all night writing their briefs and what they want to say for that jury.
All right. Well, we will be watching closely with our coverage here on BNC. Michael Kushner, thank you so much for weighing in on this for us tonight. We appreciate your time. And jury selection in the trial for R. Kelly begins Monday, as we just told you. Opening statements are scheduled for August 18th. He's being held at a federal jail in Brooklyn. And coming up in sports.